Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to the show. This is actually part 2 with Chris Brandlin. On the first part, we talked about real estate. But on this part, we're going to talk about something a little bit different. We're going to talk about healthcare and why the healthcare system is not what it was in the past. But Chris, thank you so much for coming back on the show, my friend.
Pleasure.
So in the first part of the series, or at least in the episodes, we talked about real estate and also the living trust. But you also come back from a healthcare background as well. And there's a lot that you saw with the healthcare industry. So I'd like to dive into that a little bit because, everyone talks about big pharma, but how does big pharma work is the question. So let's dive into that.
Of course. So before becoming a licensed attorney in 2011, I came from the health and fitness industry. I was a personal trainer during college and law school, but during law school, I was also an all-natural bodybuilding competitor and champion. I was Mr. Los Angeles Natural 2010. So That was the last contest I won before I took and passed the bar exam. So I was practicing law and 2011 on. 5 years down the road, practicing law, I'm still trying to stay healthy, but all of a sudden I got sick. I didn't know what caused it, and I didn't realize I got bit by a tick. But I went down the wrong path because I went to doctors. I usually go to doctors for broken bones because I am an adrenaline junkie, as you probably know.
Yep.
But anyways, I went to doctors because I wasn't feeling well. This is the first. And instead of testing to find the root cause, they put me on a lot of pharmaceuticals that did a lot of damage. Basically, I was put on pharmaceuticals for about 14 months. And it incinerated my intestinal lining. It basically was making me bleed from my intestines for the last couple months.
Oh my God.
And then they turned me over to emergency surgery, said we have to remove a piece of your intestines. And this is something I didn't expect because I was fine before I ever took any kind of medications. So what happened is in 2017, April 2017, this is still when I was in California, they referred me to a colorectal surgeon to remove a piece of my intestines, and it got even worse. I woke up while they're cutting open my intestines. Improper anesthesia. They couldn't put me back to bed. They overdrugged me. I was sedated for a couple days. And then 2 weeks later, I developed a humongous infection right where they cut me open my intestines. They had to recut me open, no anesthesia, fully awake. 2 weeks later, same thing happened. Back to the ER, cut me back open. And then I had to manage it for the rest of 2017, but it was still having problems. This was with the eye opener. The doctor says, you know what? If you're still having complications after all these pharmaceuticals and after the intestinal surgery, we're just going to have to remove the rest of your intestines. So I'm not going to tell you what I told them exactly because there's a lot of derogatory words involved. But
I would imagine.
I gave them a very big middle finger. I said, I'm going to handle this on my own. I don't trust you anymore. I actually looked into regenerative medicine and alternative health, and as a former all-natural bodybuilder, I actually went into really narrowing down my diet. I fasted for 10 days, no food, just water. On the 10th day, or after the 10th day, I refed on only meat because I was looking into the carnivore diet, which became popular right before 2017. It was going into 2018, and it immediately healed my gut, and all the bleeding stopped. It was amazing. I started going, but when I started introducing foods, other foods, it caused problems. So I've been a carnivore since 2018. So someone who speaks against pharmaceuticals, I spoke out against the vaccine mandates. So I was promoting the carnivore diet from 2018 over. When the vaccine mandates rolled out, I spoke out against the vaccine mandates. People try to report me to the California State Bar, including other attorneys reported me to the State Bar for being a health nuisance to public health. I dismissed the complaints. I decided to get my PhD in public policy and public health and run for Congress to make voices heard at higher levels. And I kept my promise, and that's why I'm here today. And I just won the primary election for Assembly District 42. My focus and my campaign motto is Make Nevada Healthy Again. Another motto, prevention over prescription. We are over-prescribed medication, and ever since, the pharmaceutical companies have been bigger, we've been getting unhealthier. They've been trying to take meat away from the menus, and we're having higher rates of cardiovascular disease. What does that tell you? Meat's not the problem. It's eating a lot of preservative foods, and a lot of foods that don't have just one ingredient. And I don't expect everybody to be a carnivore, and I always tell people, no, this is what works for me, but I think what you need to focus on, eat real food with one ingredient, And pharmaceuticals, if you're taken religiously, it can do more harm than good. I do believe some pharmaceutical medications can be life-saving in the form of some kind of like severe sepsis, where it can be temporary. But when you're on a chronic basis, guess what? Do you think Big Pharma would make any money if everybody got healthier naturally?
Nope.
What does that tell you?
Goes to show you that they want to keep people sick because of...
Yeah, exactly. It's a downward spiral. And then I went through the rabbit hole of that, and I saw that the pharmaceutical industry is one of the biggest funders for all political campaigns.
Yep.
Yeah, so, and it's not just the Democrats. I used to thought it was just the Democrats, but it's actually Republicans and the Democrats. They fund almost 70% of all politicians get money from Big Pharma, but they don't get it directly. Do you know how they get it?
That I don't know.
Political action committees, PACs. What they do, these pharmaceutical companies will fund the PACs, and then the PACs give money to the candidates. And so indirectly, they don't really disclose that, yeah, I'm getting money from pharmaceutical, I'm not getting from Pfizer, Moderna, Johnson & Johnson. I'm getting it from this political action committee that supports my party. But yes, and they also...
Interesting. A smoke screen almost.
Yeah. So that's what brought me here today is I really want to focus. I don't plan on just taking down all Big Pharma. I plan on just getting people to grassroots real health. You shouldn't be taking away meat from our children's diets when our children are malnourished. It's what we've been eating for 2.5 million years. And our childhood obesity epidemic is actually in the worst in Las Vegas. It's at 34%. I thought it was like the South, it's Louisiana. I thought it was like the South that was the highest. But no, it's actually Las Vegas. We have the highest, not adult, but it's childhood. Those children are our future leaders. And I hope people need to recognize you cannot have a productive economy or just a future for all of our generations without focusing on our future. Yes. And that is my focus. And even though there are other doctors that are incumbents and politicians, none of them are really focusing on public health. I'm the one person because even though I'm an attorney and I'm a research doctor, I came from the health industry. And I'll tell you, I don't like most attorneys. I don't like politicians. I prefer the health and fitness. And that's why God brought me back to health.
And I love that. I love the fact that you tied in faith as well because it's grassroots. Because you're going back to proper eating. You're going back to proper, conservative foundational faith.
Sure.
Like, for example, I'm also Christian, right? And I also believe in eating red meat, in eating good food. I grow my own food at home. I wish I had my own cattle.
Red meat is in the Bible more than any other food. People don't realize that.
That's right. And, to me, we have a couple of raised beds at home. We live in Arizona, so it's kind of difficult. But we grow like our own vegetables and everything. And you know what? I know that it's clean food because I'm the one that planted them. Exactly. I know where it came from. Like there's certain companies that we trust that we order from that's good meat. That's like local ranchers because I don't want lab-grown meat.
Of course. And
that's not even meat at that point.
I'm going to ask you a question, another pop quiz. How many of the 50 states have banned lab-grown meat? Promoted by soy breast Billy Gates.
Probably sub 10.
Yeah, sub 10, you're right. 8. There was just the 8th state that followed. Florida was the first. I give a lot of credit for Governor DeSantis for doing that. I want to make Nevada the 9th state to ban lab-grown meat.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want Arizona to be the 10th.
I'm hoping, and you know what? This is what a lot of people realize. Health is not a federal power. It's a state power. Under the 10th Amendment of the Constitution, 1791.
Oh, that's right.
Yes, the founding fathers made it the original intent that powers not designated to the federal government are designated to the states. And the main thing is health and welfare. Health is a state power. The HHS sets the guidelines. It's up to the states to follow. And that's why all the states had different vaccine mandates. And that's why only 8 out of the 50 states can ban lab-grown meat. It's up to the states. When other states see one state prospering and getting healthier and becoming more productive, they will follow. Yes. And my goal is make Nevada healthy again, is going to make America healthy again, and I want to make the world healthy again.
And not only that, it starts with the grassroots. It doesn't have to start with the entire country. It starts with just one state.
Correct.
And when other states start looking at Nevada or Arizona or Florida and go, they're healthier. What are they doing differently? And they go to see that, oh, wait, this is what they're doing. They're going to follow that same route.
Correct.
It's kind of like word of mouth, except it's state of mouth.
Yes.
Where it's like, it starts to spread. And that's a good spread. That's what we need, is to start pushing whatever this crap that people are feeding us. It's like, we need to go back to exactly what our bodies need. Like, for example, fasting is good for you. People say like, oh, you need to be eating 3 times a day. Well, okay, what are you eating?
Yes.
What are you eating?
Yeah,
like,
and doctors don't focus on the diets. And I'm sorry to interrupt you, but Do you know how many hours the average medical doctor spends in nutrition in their entire medical school careers at the
Probably not
highest
enough.
prestigious medical institutions? 19.6 hours, because I've done these clinical studies in my PhD. So guess what? The average personal trainer knows more about nutrition than your average medical doctor, and that is a fact. And you can want to fact check me if you want it possible. So the reason why pharmacology is the bulk of the curriculum in all the medical institutions. You know why? Who are the funders of all the medical institutions? Pharmaceutical companies. Not only are they funding the politicians, they're funding your future doctors. So that's why your doctors don't know any better. I believe doctors have really good, honest intentions to help people. They're taught wrong. They're not uneducated. They're
That's right.
miseducated.
Yes, it's kind of like schools. It's like,
Exactly.
you know, the teachers, they have the good intention, but it's the stuff that they're teaching us. It's like, listen, I love you as a person, but what are you teaching me?
Yeah.
Like sometimes the doctor, for example, you know, I'm going to say this actually online.
Of course.
I was raised in a Portuguese household. Right? I'll give you an example. I came from a line of ranchers, winemakers, fishermen, farmers, and we all know how to do everything right. You want to know how to enrich the blood? Have a good red wine. It helps with your red blood cells.
And I'm Italian, so I can tell you, I'm one of the few Italians that doesn't drink red wine, but it's okay.
Yeah, but you get
yes.
it. It's like these traditional things, like for example, oh, you feel weak? Have some meat.
Yeah.
Oh, your bones are weak? Have some real milk. Not like, you know, the stuff that
No,
you see in the
and you
stores.
actually need animal-based fat can actually truly be healing, and that's
Yes.
ever since the low-fat craze in the 1980s, we've been getting unhealthier because they're trying to do these low-fat foods and they increase artificial sugar and a lot of other
Right.
crap.
When there's good fats.
Exactly.
And there's good sugars. But the question is, what kind of sugar? Like, for example, you have like trail mix or like, you know, almonds, cashews, they have good fats.
Yes.
You have pistachios that have protein. It has the, you know, the correct fundamentals that the body needs. But all of a sudden it's like, all salt is bad, sugar's bad. No, it's the kind of salt and sugar.
Dr.
Because-
Nikolenko is probably the best kind of example of why we actually need salt. I love like his salt book basically, and yeah, you
Right.
need natural minerals.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You need the underlying things. It's like what the body needs. Like, look how we ate 3,000 years ago,
Sure.
2,000 years ago. We grew our own food, our own crops. We raised our own animals, and we ate them. And I don't know, we're still here. We obviously did something right.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden we're starting to see our peers getting sick. We're getting sicker and even harder. We're getting hit harder. It's like interesting.
Yeah.
It comes back to the human body of what we're ingesting, of what we're taking. It's like what you eat is what you are, or something like that phrase.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly, and that's why Hippocrates said basically, you know, a lot of different things on really focusing on health, and a lot of people don't realize is that when they're really focusing on their health, they can actually make themselves better. But people need to realize that the money with all this medicine, it's not where the person is dead. It's not where the person is healthy. It's when they're sick and they're repeat customers, not repeat patients, repeat customers for the pharmaceutical companies for the rest of their lives. So don't look at their longevity and how long they live. They can live in a hospital bed for the last 30 years of their life.
That's right. Chris, I'd like to wrap up the
Sure.
episode, but before we do, what is one piece of advice that you would leave to my generation that they want to take up the torch, whether it's health or helping their county or their district or their state to push for a better state, whether it's Nevada, Arizona, Florida, Massachusetts, whatever it may be? What is one thing that you would recommend to somebody that's listening right
Sure.
now?
I'm going to say a prescription over, basically prevention over prescription for a lot of purposes, or prevention before prescription. Start them early. Get the children eating real food and get them some active lifestyles. We need to enhance the physical education in schools.
Absolutely. I agree. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to follow Chris and what he's doing as well, follow him on social media. You can see it all in the description below. You can check out his website as well. And also, there's other podcasts that he has been on, and they will be featured in the description as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, build yourself better and bigger every day. Live better, live bigger. Always move forward. Start thinking for yourself and start thinking outside the box and start to question things, because you might find out some ugly truths and it might be worth your while. Chris, thank you so much for coming on the show, my friend. It has been a pleasure.
Thank you.